This video is to review arithmetic and sequences and series. So we have three examples we're going to take a look at. This first is fairly straightforward. It says given a sub n equals 4 minus 9n, find a sub 30. So all that means here is that we're plugging 30 in for n into this equation. So we're doing not 4 minus 9 times 30. Pretty straightforward. And you should get negative 266 when you do that. Okay, again, fairly straightforward. The next example takes a little bit more to it. It says given a sub 4 equals 13 and a sub 7 equals 28, find a sub 45. And again, you would be told that this was an arithmetic sequence. I should have said that, but because this is an arithmetic sequences video, I guess I meant to say that was stated. So we know that it's arithmetic, that there should be a constant difference. So that's your goal here, is to find out what the constant difference is here. So I start off by writing this out, and I know that my fourth term is 13 and my seventh term is 28. And I'm trying to find out what is that constant difference that takes me from 13 to 28. So how many differences do I have? Well, I have one difference that takes me to my fifth term. I have two differences that takes me to my sixth term. And I have three differences that takes me to my seventh term. So I start off with my 13th number, and three differences takes me to 28. So I have that equation. Now I can solve that to figure out what is my constant difference. So I subtract 13 from both sides. And then I can figure out that my constant difference here is 5. So I can work backwards here to figure out, well, my third difference, 13 minus 5, is 8. Or my third term, excuse me. My second term here, 8 minus 5, is 3. And then my first term, 3 minus 5, is negative 2. So you always want to be able to get to your first term. And this is where you will find on your formula sheet a formula for arithmetic sequences that tells you that you can use this formula. Okay, you just need to know what all these parts mean. Okay, a sub 1 means your first term. Okay, you're going to keep that n minus 1, and d is your constant difference. That's what we just found. So we're trying to come up with this formula here. So our first term, a sub 1, that we just found, is negative 2, n minus 1, and our constant difference is 5. So we want to go ahead and kind of distribute that 5 here. So plus 5n minus 5. And we want to combine our like terms so that we come up with negative 7 plus 5n. So that right there is the formula for our arithmetic sequence. So now this is just like the problem we did in the first example. Now we can find a sub 45, or our 45th term, by plugging in 45 for n. Negative 7 plus 5 times 45, and that gives us 218. And our third example here has to do with series. Series takes so many terms in a sequence and adds them together, which you can do by hand, or you can use your calculator. It has this sigma tool that does it for us. So a lot of times you'll see a question like this on the SOL that says evaluate. And so I'm going to show you how you can use your calculator to do this for you. Okay, this 13 minus 3n, that's the formula for your sequence. And the n equals 1 to 15. That's telling you you're adding the first 15 terms in your sequence together. So you could use this formula and you could figure out the first 15 terms in your sequence, and you could add them together by hand. If you didn't remember how to type that into your calculator, that would be fine. But I'm going to show you how to do that on your calculator. Another thing to talk about with series is that a lot of times you'll have a word problem that will say, what is the total amount that was done over a period of time, or what was the total amount that was paid if you increased the amount that you paid, something like that. And that's where you would use a series. I wrote this out here because I'm going to show how this is done in the TI Inspire. There are 4 things you need to enter into your calculator. You enter the expression, the variable, the bottom number, and the top number. And these 4 things are all separated by commas. That's why I wrote out the commas. So the expression in this case is 13 minus 3n. The variable is n. And then the bottom number is 1, and the top number is 15. So you go to your book is where you can find the sigma. Now, because I've been doing this a lot recently, mine automatically goes there. But if that doesn't happen, because it probably won't the day of the SOL because it will be in testing mode, you should make sure that you hit the second tab, and you can see the sigma is right at the top of that, so that gives you a clue. And then you scroll all the way down to mathematical operators, and you're going to have to click that plus sign. And then it opens up all the options that you have. And so again, you're scrolling down until you find that sigma. And once you find the sigma, you click it and then you hit enter. And it comes up on your screen. And then this is where you type your expression. So 13 minus 3n, comma. You tell it what variable you're using. So we're using an n, comma. The bottom number, 1, comma, the top number, 15. And then you hit enter. So you do want to make sure that this looks exactly like the problem that you were working on. And I can see here, I made a mistake. I did not want to do 13 minus n, I wanted to do 13 minus 3n. So I need to make sure that I correct that so that I get the right answer. And now I've corrected that. 13 minus 3n, 1 to 15. And so the correct answer here is negative 165. If you have more questions about arithmetic sequences and series, please see your math teacher.